Hello everyone, my name is Desiree Adorno and this is going to be my demo class demonstration. I'm going to show you or share with you my screen so you can have a better understanding of what I'm talking about. Let me share my screen. It's not this one, of course. It's this one. Okay. Okay, this is my lesson tutorial demo as I told you, and let's start with the content. This this demo is going to be about the subject of math, and I'm a first grade teacher, so it's going to be about first grade, and the topic is a really important one that is about the place value. I gave this class on last week on October 15, 2025. Of course, all the classes that we have to teach, we have to have the alignment with the standards of Puerto Rico Department of Education. We're going to be focusing on numbers and operations to demonstrate the understanding of the base-10 number system by representing numbers using models. So we're going to be using these base-10 blocks as we see in the image. And we have to use some physical and pictorial models with the base-10 blocks that I already told you to compose and decompose the numbers to have a better understanding. The situation, of course, of my objectives will be that this is a bilingual classroom and the students have to develop some number sense in English and in Spanish, of course, and they will be using the base-10 blocks to achieve that, to represent these numbers up to 100. In kindergarten, they're supposed to finish the school year knowing the numbers up to 100. And in first grade, they start with the numbers from 101 through 999. So that's why they use three-digit numbers. The objective number one is a cognitive one. That they have to be like given the sets of base-10 blocks, the students will correctly identify and write the value of each digit of three-digit numbers, the hundreds, the tens, and the ones, and the value of each of them. The objective number two is an affective one so it's going to be in groups or in pairs in this case. During this group activity, the students will show enthusiasm, they have to cooperate, and then build when they have to build the numbers using this bilingual counting and base-10 blocks. And the objective number three is a psychomotor one using these manipulatives that I already told you, and in the image you can see the base-10 blocks. The students will physically build and draw in the worksheet that I'm going to show you up to 100 with base-10 blocks, and with this they have to demonstrate the understanding of the place value. Rationally, why are we teaching this lesson? Why is it important? Use of classroom time, how I would justify this to a parent or my administrator. Given my experience I have seen in other years, this year I'm teaching first grade, but in other years I have taught math in first grade, second grade, third grade, fourth grade, fifth grade, and sixth grade. And if they don't really understand well this place value, they're going to not really understand the the amount of each quantity. If not, they're going to just see the symbol in there, but they don't understand. And in 246, how much is inside that? It's not the same to have 200 than having 20. And I use money to this for them to just understand that. But with the place value, if this is a hard task, and if you don't take your time to just teach it in a proper way, there's some really big baggage that these kids is going to have with them year after year. That's why it's really so important. The materials are something really important. You have to use the base-10 blocks. Is the flats, the rods, and the cubes that I show you in the first images. In my school, we have a really big box with a lot of them, so I can give them to each student. Maybe you can use them printed if you don't have these base-10 blocks in your school. They need their paper, my whiteboard, of course. I'm always going to be working with the whiteboard and modeling the numbers and the words and everything. I use flashcards with the bilingual concepts with hundreds, centenas, tens, decenas, ones, unidades, and some numbers in it too. The student worksheet that I'm going to show you later on, and color pencils, of course. The procedure, something really simple in the beginning. I do my daily routine like every day. I grade them. I do my daily routine with my number songs, the counting of days of school, the number of the day. We practice if we have any dictation, everything. Then I start showing them the number 245 and I ask them, what is this number? I already started with them just working with how I say this number. Remember that they just know the numbers up to 100, but in first grade they're starting to learn the new ones. So some of them knew, some of them they don't even remember, but it's part of the process. Then I introduce the concept that each digit has a place value. We have the hundreds, son las centenas, the tens, las decenas, and the ones that las unidades, I'm sorry. And I point to each of them. I use some color coding so they can understand, associate the place of each digit and the name or the label in it. Then we keep going with the development. First, I start modeling. I use me first, the teacher first, the base and blocks to build 245. I use two flats because they have 200. I use four rods. That is the longest one. There because we have 40, have 240, and the little cubes, five of them because I have 245. I say the numbers in English and in Spanish. I point, I do it again. We see all of the process. Me first, of course, explaining. Then in the other part, I have to, they'll have a guided practice with a pair. I pair them strategically. They work in a small bilingual pairs. They gave them some number to each of them. One of them have 136, another one have 420, another one have 309, and they have to build it as I did first, but with the partner. In this process, I go, by the pairs to help them, blah, 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 and encourage the bilingual dialogue, of course, with them. Just how do you say this in English? This is the hundreds and everything. Then in the third step, they have to make an independent practice. They have to complete a worksheet that I have to show you just right now so you can understand it. The assignment will be something like this one. This one. They have an example first. I discussed this example with them first with the smart board that I have in my classroom. I projected this exact one. And we represent drawing right now the base and blocks. The squares are going to be the hundreds. The lines are going to be the tens. And the small little circles will be the ones. So they have to do it by themselves. In here we have some skill criteria points. I gave them 30 points for this. Each of them with the objective ones. The first one with the cognitive to correctly identify the hundreds, the tens, and the ones. And the effective one to participate respectfully with your prayer to identify everything. And the psychomotor to build using the base and blocks and to draw them in the worksheet. The closure of my class will be a review of everything that we discussed, of what does each place mean. I have a really good song that they loved about the hundreds and ones, centenas, decenas, unidades, and they loved it, and we just sing it, and it's something really good with them to understand the concepts. And they can share something either in English or in Spanish that they learned from the class. Some accommodations that took place, that is something really important for you to just acknowledge because this could happen and this happened in my class. First one, to reduce the number of problems is a lot. all my students could complete it, but I have two of them that I have to cut off the half the exercises, but it was good for them too. Another one could be the color coding, using blue for the hundreds, the squares, green for the tens, and yellow circles to the ones. Using colors would be really helpful for them to just separate each of them. Another one would be the step-by-step modeling. I use a smartboard with them with for this accommodation for them to see the exact worksheet that they have in my smartboard, and I can demonstrate, each part of the directions that I want them to follow. Another one would be using translanguaging intentionally, encouraging them always to use English and Spanish during discussion for them to just practice it but feel comfortable at the same time. Model my pronunciation of the number words, always really important in both languages, and allowing them to respond in either language depending on how they want to express themselves. I answer them in English for, to just filling that space, but for them to feeling happy with this is amazing. So this is everything that I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed it as I did and my students did. So good night, everyone.